The time has come for the Blue Guardian Legendary Items 2.0 guide. In this guide, we're going to look at which items to get and all the traceries and which ones you should be getting for Blue Tanking Guardian. When it comes to your weapon as a Blue Guardian, of course you can look at your racials and get the 5% damage increase. But since you're going to be tanking on Guardian and you're going to be using a shield, you do obviously want to have a one-handed weapon. And one thing to note is that most of the weapons have a passive, like axes can lower the armor. But if we scroll down to the sword, it has by far the best passive for tanking, which is 1% parry chance. I guess hammer has 1% evade chance, but in any case, most classes will have the sword bonus from the racial trait, so I would recommend a sword for your Guardian tank. And as with most classes, when it comes to your class item, you only have one choice, and the Guardian's belt is the class item you should pick. When it comes to Heraldric traceries for Blue Guardian, I've come up with 3 possible options: Heraldry of the Ox, of the Sparrow, and of the Owl. The Ox and the Sparrow are really similar, stats are like identical, but if I had to choose between these two, I would lean towards the Might, just because Might will increase your mastery a bit, while Agility will give you crit, but in any case it doesn't really make a big difference. But I would probably say Might just edges this Agility one slightly. Which brings us to the Owl, which obviously gives Will, but less Vitality. It gives you 3400 tactical mitigations and some resistance, but the outgoing healing is not really needed on a Guardian. So for me, I think Heraldry of the Ox is the best option for Blue Guard, since I would rather have the extra 600 Vitality and a bit of extra Mastery, always helps on guard to do some more damage, instead of the 3400 tactical mitigations. So my advice is 2 of the Heraldry of the Ox as your Heraldric traceries. Moving on to the Word of Power traceries. As with any class, you have 5 slots for these items, and just immediately we can remove the partial chance and the partial mitigation for BPE, because I'm pretty sure just raw BPE will just be stronger. So these will probably never see any use from any tank who knows what they're doing, which leaves us with 7 that are pretty good, all of them. On the top here, I have picked what I think is must pick on any tank. Getting some more morale, reducing incoming damage physical, and reducing incoming damage tactical are definitely must picks. So these 3 are by far the best 3 that you should always have. That leaves us with 2 more slots, and here is where you can probably have swappies depending on the fight. If you want to be lazy and just put 2, I would recommend getting the incoming healing as your 4th. And the 5th, I would recommend block chance. These top 5 I would always recommend. But of course, you can play around having swap items if you want to increase your BPE. For example, you could have incoming damage, and block, parry, evade for one build. It all depends on the fight, but if you just want to have one set of tanking items, I think these top 5 are the best by far. Looking at the Word of Masteries for Guardian, you have 12 slots to fill. As usual, we're going to go through all the traceries, see which ones are useful for tanking, and we're going to finally decide on what I think are the best 12 for your Guardian tank. Starting off with adaptability, block, and parry rating. This I think you should have on your guard. These buffs are pretty much going to be up all the time. They might disappear for a little bit when you use your response skills, but they're going to build up super quick anyways. So getting some extra block and parry will always be good for you. Bash damage. As a Guardian tank, we're primarily looking for survival and avoidance, so we're not gonna go for any damage ones, really. So we're not gonna pick bash damage. Same goes for brutal assault damage. Catch a breath, reduced cooldown, and increased heal. Of course, you want one of your strongest cooldowns to be stronger. Catch a breath is a must pick. Charge duration and increased speed is one that I'm gonna put here as a viable option for now. We can look at it later. Force taunt duration is probably a must pick. Increasing the duration of your taunts is really nice on Guardian to help you keep aggro. Guardian's Pledge, reduced cooldown and magnitude of the skill is definitely a must pick for one of your strongest cooldowns. Guardian's Ward damage, you might think, okay, that's not too great, but the Guardian's Ward parry chance increase that comes with this makes it a must pick. Same goes for Guardian's Ward duration, that's nice, but also you get the increased block chance that comes with it. You obviously want to pick this as well. Increased block, parry, and evade from protection. This is more of a yellow line trait that we're not gonna go into in this guide. We're gonna skip this one. Overwhelm damage and critical chance, we're gonna skip. Parry response damage, we don't need this for a tank. Shield damage, I'm gonna put this as a viable option for now. And shield smash damage, I'm also gonna put as a viable option. I know I said we're not gonna go for damage, but having more damage on your shield skills will help you build aggro and keep aggro. Stagger critical chance and stagger effect duration we're not gonna take as a tank. Stamp cooldown and damage. I always like taking this. Reduce cooldown on your interrupt skill. Not just for having your interrupt skill back sooner, but also you can use your stamp to animation cancel a lot of animations. So this is definitely a must pick for me. Sting damage and critical chance we're not gonna take. Sweeping cut damage and critical chance, no, we don't need the damage. Turn the table's cooldown we're gonna put as a viable option for now. We now have 4 viable options. Vexing blow damage we're not gonna take. War chant duration, viable option for now. Check in on that later. Warrior's Heart duration, one of your strongest cooldown. This will increase the duration of your extra morale. I would say yes, you want to pick Warrior's Heart duration. And you have a couple of other traceries that will increase the strength of Warrior's Heart. This tracery will increase the amount of healing that you do while using Warrior's Heart. You definitely want to have this for the really strong heal on Warrior's Heart. And this tracery increases your Stoic bubble strength. I would say yes, pick this. Whenever your bubble is active on your Warrior's Heart, you take 20% reduced damage. So having the bubble being stronger, and probably not being depleted that easily is really good. And the last tracery is Whirling Retaliation damage. We're not gonna pick this for blue line. This gives us 10 Word of Mastery for Guardian and 5 viable options. We need to fill the last 2 slots. And this is where it comes down to, like, depending on the fight or depending on your preferred playstyle. You could of course go for shield damage, both of the shield damage increase. War Chanted duration is kind of so-so. It'll increase the duration of your War Chant debuff. Right now it's 10-second duration and 10-second cooldown. So to me it doesn't really do much. I would probably say War Chant duration goes out of the window. Charge duration and charge run speed can be really useful in some cases, moving fast and moving fast for a longer time can be really good. Turn the tables cooldown can also be really nice to break out of stuns, but in most cases where you're gonna be stunned a lot, you have your Lore Master keeping SI on you. So at least for me, for a general build, I would just take the shield smash damage and the shield damage. And of course, depending on your playstyle, if you want to have the extra charge duration, if you want to have turn the tables cooldown, you would just simply take away the shield damage. It's not really needed to have shield damage, I just prefer it for my playstyle. And you would just add turn the tables or charge. And of course, if you only want one of these, you can then add one of the shield damage ones as your 12th. At least for me, these are my preferred 12 Word of Masteries for Guardian Tank, with turn the tables cooldown and charge duration, of course, definitely being viable options to swap in. Word of Craft right now for Guardian is pretty straightforward. Just grab 4 of the Grand Willpower and get some extra tact mitt that you are gonna need for the new level cap. That's the end of my Guardian's guide. If you follow my guide, your allies should end up looking something like this. Leave a like, subscribe to my channel, join my Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.